So thank you so much for coming today. I'm very, very delighted to present the webinar with Dr. Khalif Turner, who is our professor in film and studies. So welcome, Dr. Khalif.
Thank you, Eliana. It's great to be here.
So what we will cover today, it will be what an MA in film, science, fiction, and fantasy can offer you. Also, why Richmond's program structure, application information, and in the end, we will going to have a Q&A session. If you have any questions, please add your question to the question section, which is on your right-hand side of the screen, and let us know, and we will answer all the questions in the end. So I would like to start the presentation with a quick COVID-19 update. We acknowledge that the current situation in higher education may concern you. So we offered our blended options last fall with a face-to-face online classes, which we are currently offering the spring semester, but only an online this spring semester. And we are expecting our students to come on campus in September, hopefully. We have worked hard to ensure the safety of our students by applying changes on campus, social distancing for all our students and staff. We have a significant advantage being a small university, which have helped a lot in monitoring these changes. It is much easier compared to big universities. We also have done an internal survey, and 90% of our students says they feel quite safe. But also we monitor the government guidance, and we'll update you through application communications that we send to the students. But we are very, very, very much looking forward to face-to-face teaching in September. So now I'm going to pass you on to Dr. Khalif to talk you a little bit about the MA.
Thank you so much. That's great. Yeah. So this is a really exciting time because this is the new program we're launching that is very different to what you may be aware of that's currently out there that may or may not be science fiction and fantasy related. But certainly this is an MA in film, science fiction and fantasy. And what does that mean? Well, one of the core values of the MA is to prepare you not just in terms of knowledge and understanding of all things sci-fi, but for a career in the industry, to better understand industry practices. And so what's great about this program is that we're not going to be like a lot of MAs do, MA in screenwriting, MA in directing or editing, very specialist. We cover all of the bases, cover all of the main specialisms, and then allow you to choose what resonates, what interests you the most. And then throughout the progression of the program, you can focus on that niche area in the industry through assignments, assessments, listening to guest lecturers, and building up your expertise and portfolio this way. So some of the benefits that a program like this could provide: clearly, some of the big expectations in film are directing, being behind the camera, knowing how to tell a story visually. But one of the other important parts of the program is that we look at storytelling in all its forms and all its expectations. So yes, telling a story is important when you're a director, knowing cinematography, the technical side, but also production. How do you create a team of people, or you put a project together that will be well received by funders, and all of the aspects that you create your own science fiction product, whether it's film, TV, or a franchise, or whatever. And of course, editing is as much a storytelling process as writing is. And visual effects and digital storytelling all involve those storytelling skills. So we look at the theory behind these industry specialisms, but also we look at the practical aspects as well. We are looking at it through an academic context, and we reach out beyond academia into industry, beyond the campus. And so yes, this is allowing the theory of storytelling, the theory of industry practices, the theory of being a producer and being an editor or studio management, being on the set of a studio and managing a team, or indeed if you wanted to get more into journalism and critique, how best to evaluate and analyze these products. And again, if let's say you want to learn more about a particular software or particular piece of equipment, or you want to learn more about the processes involved when you work your way up the industry ladder, we will complement the theory with these practical skill sets. If we just go to the next slide, please, Eliana. Thank you. So clearly, film industry is important, but you'd be surprised that these storytelling skills and knowledge of industry practices and interest in science fiction, entertainment, and media extends beyond just films and TV, but it can get into the realm of things like comics and games and toys and advertising and promotional and branding contexts. So we will listen to guest speakers and guest lecturers that say have been involved in the promotional design or campaigns for Warner Brothers and Marvel. And if you're thinking about, say, having a career in branding and PR, we have a huge support group there as part of our postgraduate curriculum as well. But if you wanted to get involved, say, in publishing, or if you wanted to become someone who was a costume and stage designer, or a set technician, it all sounds very disparate and unrelated, but these speak to each other in unexpected ways, and we can accommodate those needs. Maybe there are needs you didn't realize you had that are all related to creating these story worlds for science fiction and fantasy. Of course, whether or not you want to focus on the career of being a digital influencer or a video essayist, a part of your career in this day and age depends on getting your brand out there, having your opinions and critical viewpoints on films realized online, and how to promote yourself within the industry. So we'll give you all of those skill sets as well. And lastly, if you don't want to do anything, strictly speaking, in terms of hands-on industry work or industry practices, and you want to get into teaching and research and further study within academia, then we can help you with that also. We've got a huge network of contacts in academia as well as industry, and so you can specialize in that area in the longer term in terms of scholarship. So yeah, we really do want to prepare you for several specialisms inside industry and academia, and it's up to you to choose which you would like to make your particular niche, your specialism. So yeah, I think that's everything on the preparation for a career in industry. Thanks, Eliana.
Thank you. So, but why choose Richmond? So I'm going to tell you a bit about a few facts regarding Richmond. So Richmond is a unique institution in the UK and specifically in London. We are an American university and all our students will graduate with an American and British degree. So we have this unique dual accreditation. We are the only American university in the UK and the only university that offer dual degree. On our undergraduate programs, we follow the American liberal arts system, which is a bit different from the UK universities. But in master level, all students are enrolled in 1 year master degree. And they get, as I mentioned, the American and British degree, which makes students a very international graduates, selecting bits from both best education system in the world. We are a very international university, and this is because we have a small class sizes. And so in the class sizes in our masters could be from 15 students to 20 students, and which makes your experience unique, since you're going to have a better interaction with your lecturers, your classmates, and also it is important that in 1 year you get the most of it. Also, we have 93% graduate employment. This means that students, after 6 months of their graduation, they get a graduate job. And also, we have 9 hours contact time per week. It is an average hour contacts for the UK. And also, another extraordinary fact is that all the students will get a personal academic advisor from the first day that arrive in the university. And this advisor will help them throughout their journey. For example, either it will be from the academic side of things, or maybe picking an internship and how the internship will help them to achieve the most. And also we have a global alumni network. So you are going to be part of that alumni network, and which is from 140 countries around the world. And that's why it makes us a genuinely international environment. So we also we have a faculty who are world-renowned experts in their field. We have academic, but also professional background. So you will going to get the best of both. But why, why London? So what to say about this glorious city, and where can I start? So I'll start with the facts. Did you know that there are over 8.4 million trees, 300,000 gardens and hectares of green space, which makes London pretty much the United Nations of a national park. London is one of the most cultural cities on the planet. Over the last 7 years, London has become the bubble of the modern world. The city is home to more than 270 nationalities and 300 languages. It is the best place to be as an international student. It is consistently voted the world's best city to live and study. There are so many things to see and do outside of the classroom. So no matter what you study, and especially for the film industry, there are so many amazing things and companies to visit. So all these experiences will complement the learning in the classroom. And as we say to our students, London is not just a city, it is a classroom itself. Now I'm going to pass you on to Dr. Caleb.
Thank you very much. Yes, I totally agree. Indeed, London is a learning laboratory, and the classroom experience will expand beyond this, both in terms of the resources that meet us on campus with guest lecturers, but also as you venture out and explore the possibilities. Well, it could be for future internships or just building up a network. And this is really important, that allows us to show exactly what our program will provide for you by being in such close proximity to essentially one of the, if not the major capitals of the film industry and mainstream entertainment and media networks. We aim to give you a detailed knowledge of industry practices and storytelling, to better understand why we enjoy science fiction and fantasy, why we engage with these products and franchises, and why it's fun to create them and consume them. But the topics that you will find the most interesting, as you begin to realize what those are, that you'll be expected to focus on those. You'll build up a portfolio if it's more in the industry context, or and a body of work, or get some more specialist industry knowledge that sorted that you'll be assessed on. So really, you need to choose which science fiction products and franchises and films and TV shows and things like this that you really want to better understand and explore. And you will learn from both academics and industry professionals. You will learn the critical thinking side, industry side. You'll learn about the history, the politics, the economics, the artistic influences. You'll learn about how to communicate an idea, how to negotiate the industry, how to make a project come together. So this isn't like one of those old-fashioned MAs where it's a little bit abstract or esoteric. There is very much a vocational focus in mind. And so this is why we want to enhance your employment opportunities as part of the learning process, but also in working towards an internship at a company that you would like to work at, and you'll be focusing on that throughout the course of the program. And it'll be a part of your research project as well. And so we'll be discussing that as we go through. And just to clarify, this is going to be a very international setting. Lots of, from over 100, if not more, different nationalities and backgrounds. And this is important when you're not only being learning what it is to be a global citizen, but to work within a global marketplace and a global industry. It's very important that. And the small class setting of the cohort means you can build up a real team, a real rapport in learning together, which is great. Yeah, so if we could go to the next slide, please, Eliana. Thank you. I think now it's appropriate for me to just mention a little bit about the program structure, just specifically what you can expect to see with what the particular courses will offer. So as we've been discussing, industry is an important focus, and we'll pretty much kick off the experience. We will begin by focusing on science fiction and fantasy industry in the fall. Every week, we'll ask a guest lecturer to come along from a different specialism. You'll learn about editing from someone who's edited for, say, Marvel or DC. You'll learn about we'll have a guest lecturer, for instance, for someone who's done the promotional work for Wonder Woman. We'll have a guest lecturer for someone who's done the CGI and visual effects work for WandaVision. Yeah, so you'll learn about creative pitching, project management, and building up a network. So that's the industry side covered. Then we get into digital storytelling, increasingly an important part of the industry, both on the creation side and the consumption side. So yes, you can learn about digital visual effects work, but also how digital technology allows these products to be distributed and consumed. And it's all a part of the mediation process. So these are digital skill sets are becoming increasingly important in all professional contexts. So what you'll see there is we have research methods. That's more of the academics side of the course, but it's really preparing you for later on in the summer where you'll be expected to do a research project. It doesn't have to be a written research project. It could be a film project focusing on a part of sci-fi and fantasy that you find very interesting. But the rigor of research, it's useful for academia and critical thinking, but also if you're working for a production company, you will be expected to organize information properly and work to deadlines. So that's important. Just as we move across, storytelling is another key value and another key part of the mission of the MA. So you will learn all about the genres. We'll get guest lecturers that have been writing in the genres, all these genres for 25 years, 30 years. They've got Arthur C. Clarke Awards, World Fantasy Awards. They've written for you name it, pretty much Marvel, DC, all of these big brand names. And so they will allow you to write screenplays, not just for, say, films or TV, but it could be comics and games or promotional advertising. So that's very important. Edutainment video essays is very much the practical side of the experience. You will be expected to make a couple of short films, but that will focus on science fiction shows that you really enjoy to better understand them. And then you will put these online to promote your profile, very important. And visual cultures is critically understanding some of the artistic and cultural, historical, social ideas behind why do we enjoy these the aesthetics or the narratives of these films and TV shows. So again, slightly more academic there to balance it out. And yeah, just lastly, if you choose to do an internship, that's great. We can help you out with that with a professional research project. Or if you don't want to do the internship, you want to do an extended research project, then we can help you out with that as well. So we've got all the bases covered across the course. Excellent. Thank you, Eliana. If we could move to the next slide. Thanks. Yeah, so our team. Now, when you have a chance to have a look at the website, and we'll be updating this all the time as we continue to build up our partners, we have lots of people who work for Marvel, DC, Lucasfilm, Warner Brothers, Sci-Fi Channel, who are prepared to offer their expertise. They're prepared to join us for classes and as part of workshops and research events and discuss your projects with you one-to-one. And depending on the course, you'll get to meet them all. But the people who you'll see a lot of are the main program leaders. That's myself there, Caleb, a professor of film studies, and Nicola, who's professor of communications and visual cultures. Any thing to do with managing the course and on the academic side, that's us. But all of the industry experts that you'll get to meet to complement the academic side, this will be an evolving process in terms of who, if you don't want to learn about visual effects, fine, but you do want to learn about writing, we can get you in touch with the right people. So yeah, there's exciting times ahead for building up your own professional network, and we'll help you out with that, being on the doorstep of London. Yeah, and so if we could look at the next slide, please. Thank you. Yeah, the Science Fiction Research Association. Now, this is the oldest association of its kind. It has a massive archive of materials, that reviews on sci-fi books and films and magazines, and it has a large membership that extends across academia in terms of teachers and professors, but also publishers and editors and booksellers and authors. So it gets into the vocational side there too, which is very useful. And you will automatically become a member of this. And again, it all helps to build up the network, because they will know people and they will know people. And as part of the learning experience, we'll help you to negotiate how to build up that database. But it's a very exciting association to become a member of. And yeah, if we could just go to the next slide, please. Thanks, Eliana. Yes, so IVAC, the Richmond's own International Visual Arts and Cultures Research Centre. This is the opportunity for you to listen. For instance, we've had some speakers from Lucasfilm come along and ILM, and this is your opportunity to ask them questions, learn from them, make notes, but also present your own ideas to your peers and the wider community at Richmond. You see, we share a lot of resources across our programs. If you're interested in publishing, if you're interested in digital studies or art history or business, we can share resources together at these kinds of events, and you will get all the skill sets and ideas you need to hone your understanding of, yeah, indeed, whether it's the history, theory, or the arts and culture of science fiction and fantasy, or understanding media and the impact it has on public engagement. Yeah, so this is a chance for you to put on the CV that professional development side. How do you communicate effectively, put together a convincing argument, pitch something creatively, and yeah, networking too, carrying on that keeping in contact with the London peer group. So, and we'll have lots of specialist screenings as well as part of these regular research events. Yeah, and I think there's probably, is there one more slide, Eliana? The internship. So I think what I might do is just let you cover this first, and then I can chip in later. Yeah.
All right. So we have, in terms of internships, we have a very developed department and dedicated department that will help you to go through the internships, the companies that we work with, and also the process. So they will help you with applying for the internships and getting to the interview for the specific internship and the company that the student is or you are interested. So we have, I would say that we are the oldest, perhaps, university in London that offer internships since 1974. So the internship is a big part of our programs. Either it is undergraduate or it is postgraduate. And students will learn a lot, especially for film industry, that it's a very competitive one. We push and we would like students to do a lot of internships. And Calib is, if I'm not wrong, so we have companies such as Paramount.
Yes, thank you. Yeah. So essentially, past internships will include, so we've had lots of students working for Pinewood, and and also over at Warner Brothers, but also lots of film festivals, that like Liftoff film festivals, Mad Dog Casting as well, Dog Wolf, Flux Broadcast, Aesthetica Short Film Festival, The Big Couch. And what's important is that you'd be surprised how these unexpected links from one contact to another can allow, oh, well, we're looking for someone at an internship scheme here. Why don't you apply? But we've had some guests, like, for instance, Lucasfilm were very open to the possibility of providing internship possibilities when they came and spoke with us at a research event. I invited the president of Sony to come down for one event, and he was giving all of our students advice about how to get on the first rung of the ladder for internships and the useful context he has. And our guest lecturers will be a wealth of resources and information for finding more potential internships. And we do have a dedicated, internship office that will work in conjunction with us in helping you out on this. But really, there's lots of big production companies and studios in London that specialize in all things sci-fi and fantasy, and they're going to be quite receptive and open to us getting in touch with them to keep building up these opportunities. So it's very exciting.
Thank you. And there are so many options for you guys for the internships. And as I mentioned in the beginning, students, they have a personal academic advisor, where you will sit with this advisor and will help you to find the best company, for example, or the best internship. guide you basically. So there is a lot of help in terms of internships. And so moving on, I mean, we have been talking about wonderful things so far, and you have seen the options you have and how you will fulfill your career dreams in film industry. But how do we make this happen? So first of all, we would like to receive a direct online application form, which is in our website. It's a very straightforward application form, and then we would like a personal statement. So in the personal statement, you need to talk a little bit about yourself, about the program that you're applying for, and how the program will help you with your future aspiration. Also, for master programs, we would like to receive a CV. Even if you have like gap years in your CV, that's okay. You can mention that in your personal statement. Also, we will need the proof of bachelor degree, and this is like we will like to receive the transcripts, like the grades, and also for those who are who English is not their first language, we will need an English language certificate, which might be either IELTS, which is a 6.0 in each component, or TOEFL, or Cambridge. And also the tuition fees for UK students are 9,000, and for international, which includes EU and US students, is 13,250. But I mean, we would like to offer to the students scholarships, and the scholarship for September 2021, they are to 20% to 15%. So we will see your transcript and we will check out your grades. So the higher the grades, the better the scholarship. And for EU students who have a specific scholarships, which is 4,000 4,250 for our MA programs, which include the MA in film industries as well. Or just to mention here that you do not need to apply for the scholarships. All our scholarships are automatically awarded. So as soon as we get your grades, your transcripts, we will check in which category you belong, and we will award you with a scholarship, and then we will let you know. So now it's a time for Q&A. If you have any questions, please do write down. And also here you can see Dr. Khalib email. He's more than happy to receive any questions that you might have in the future. And also you can contact us in inquiries@richmond.ac.uk. Myself and my colleagues will answer that email. But of course, Dr. Khalib is more than happy to receive as well.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, any questions at all, drop me a line. If you want a quick informal chat or going into the program in more depth, I'm absolutely happy and available to do that for sure. Yeah.
I always tell to the students, take a picture of these slides and the next one. So if you have any question, also you can contact us directly in our social media, and you can, of course, send us a friend request. So because we have a lot of information that we post in our social media as well.
Yes, yeah, there's always going to be updates for research events, and yeah, check that out, the social media feed for that too.
Yeah. So now I think we should go to the questions.
Some questions have just come in.
Yes, yes. So we have a question: is this degree available online?
So what we're actually going to offer two different options, and the first option will be just, yes, as you would imagine, just the traditional come in face to face each a few times a week dynamic. But the other option is where we will have the majority of the courses available online, but you will only have to come in for a face-to-face session, say once in the week. And the reason for that is it opens up a lot of the week for the potential for part-time work. So if you'd like to do that, you come in for, say, more of the practical emphasized courses, and it would just be, say, in the morning and the weekday or something like that, and that opens out the rest of the week for you to get on, do some part-time work within the limits you're able to do, and then access the online materials, access the online classes and the recordings and things to go through if at your at your convenience, if that benefits you in that way. So yeah, we're very open to that, but I'm not certain. I don't think 100% online has been confirmed yet, because after COVID, we're kind of more opening up to the face-to-face dynamic once more.
And this, so Alison, don't forget that this is a very practical program. So you have to, I guess that you have to be physically in the classroom. And
just to clarify, although there are practical components to it, but it won't be as intensive as, say, like the London Film School experience, where you'll have to come in and do practice every day. What we like to think of the practical element is it complements the experience. So if you do need, for instance, edutainment video essays, essentially, is the one course where you will need to be making films, working with cameras, working with editing software, and you will have to do a little bit of that as well in the full semester with the industry course too. But maybe we could negotiate something where we can do online tutorials to teach you how to use the software, online tutorials to teach you how to use the camera. But yes, I'd just like to emphasize that although this is understanding industry practices, it's the theory of this with opportunities to flex those practical skill sets. But it is not as intensive as a practical MA as you would have, say, with London Film School or that kind of institution. Yeah.
mm-hmm. So someone is asking, what about cultural studies are available in the program?
Yeah, the cultural studies component of the curriculum will feature quite a lot in, for instance, visual cultures. And as much as you'd like to incorporate it, really, because we're going to be looking at the culture and history and societal ideas of science fiction genres in our storytelling courses, you know, this idea of extrapolation, science fiction is never about the far future. It's always about the here and now, the today. And cultural studies is an important part of the analysis process, the critical thinking process. So you will find those methods, those schools of thought, if you like, coming up in visual cultures, the storytelling course, and in other places too, on the other courses. It's going to be a blend between critical thinking, philosophy, psychology, production studies knowledge, understanding how the industry works, and finding this bridge, this middle ground between the two. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So it will feature, yes.
So there is another question: can I do an internship abroad? And absolutely. So another good thing about our internship is that they are not. So you can do it worldwide. You don't need to do it only in London or in the UK, for example. I mean, we have students that, especially in undergraduate undergraduate programs, that because they can do more than one internship, where in the master it's one internship, right, Caleb? Only for you as well, or they can do 20 internship.
Sorry, just broke up a little bit there, Eliana, at the end there.
In the MA, do they need to do only one internship, or they can do two internships?
So the way in which it's structured is that if you want to get into the specifics of the credits, the way it would work out is you do one course, which is the internship, and that's a certain number of credits. And then the other course would be the research project that is relevant to the internship, and that completes the rest of the credits expectation. So it would be the one internship that you would officially be assessed on, but there's no reason why you wouldn't be able to get extra experience, I suppose, in building up to other internship prospects as part of part-time work. But officially, just one internship is all you'd be assessed on, yeah.
Yeah, so I was saying that we had students that they did more than one internship. Of course, one is credit vary, but the other one is just for your experience. And they did like one in Europe and one in international. And then they start working in London. So they had a very international background. So yes, you can do that anywhere in the world. For example, if you are what I can say, if you are from US, for example, you can go back to US and do the internship there and then produce the report as well. Or any other part. I mean, we have students that they went to China to do the internship because they wanted to work in China. So it doesn't restrict only in London.
I think that this is one of the joys of being such an international university with so many international partners, that we can discuss it in interviews or in a couple of meetings to get it right for you and how you would like to structure it and organize it. But yeah, potentially you can get this multinational experience with the different internships you take. Even though we're very London centric in focusing on industry, we can talk to partners in China, in America and beyond. So yeah, we're very broad in scope in that way. Yeah.
Yeah. So we have another question where they're asking, where can I find the recording? I mean, we can send the recording later.
Great. Yes. Yeah. You can always get in touch with me about other things too. Yeah.
So another question is, what is the deadline of the application? We would like to receive an application for international student, because they will need a visa, and there is a process for you to do before you go and apply for your visa in your country. And we would like to receive the application by June, so we have plenty of time to do the process. Any other questions?
Yes, it can be quite tricky with getting specific visas sorted, can't it? And that's the only thing that would hold up the process. Yeah, so it's a good idea to do it sooner rather than later. Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. With the visa, it's a bit more complicated. We have another question. Madeline is asking, how does this program balance the theoretical and the practical?
Thank you. Yes. So again, this is certainly better understanding industry practices, which includes the theory and practice of this, but it is essentially it gives students the opportunity to make films, work with editing software, and work with cameras, but it isn't a filmmaking intensive experience. You will have a little bit of practical experience in the fall, because if this is to help prepare you for when you have the more in practice focused experience in the spring. Edutainment video essays is essentially a filmmaking course, and you have to make several short films, and you have to try out different technical approaches and make artistic decisions. And all of the skills that you learn in the previous semester in fall, like the digital storytelling course, for instance, this gives you the theory and the methods and the practical knowledge in that way to be able to understand what makes a good story. So yes, you will have the opportunity to make films, but it does slightly favor theory, but not just the theory of, say, philosophy or big academic ideas, the theory of industry. How do you become a producer? How do you become an editor? Not just in the vocational side, but actually day to day. And you will have to, a part of the assessment would be building up a portfolio, learning from guest lecturers in your particular field. Let's say you need to learn about a particular software, for instance. If you want to become a visual effects artist, you'll specialize in learning more about that area, and you'll be assessed to show that you actually do grasp that knowledge, which will be useful for eventually if you get an internship working for, say, Lucasfilm or ILM. So yeah, to answer the question, there's a course that focuses on the practical side, and then you'll be able to unofficially work with practical equipment and flex those practical skill sets in the other courses. But it is really the production studies that dominates. It's the theory, knowledge, and understanding of practice that will allow you to then really shine when you get to do the practical stuff, if that makes sense. Yeah.
Also, we have another question. Is there a collaboration with any film studios potentially in internship?
Yes, we've been speaking to Lucasfilm and ILM. I'm currently speaking to Sci-Fi Channel over at Universal, but essentially through the guest lectures, through the events that we organize, it could be on a student by student basis where you follow up with them and we help you along the way, because it depends on your specialism. But yes, we do have big commercial partner names. I'm talking to Disney Pinewood at the moment. And yes, so I think that although they're prepared to give us some guest lectures, then who knows, internships can come from this because it's on the doorstep in London. So
You're
there's lots
welcome.
of opportunities.
There are a lot of opportunities in London. I mean, as we mentioned, it's a huge it's a capital city, so it's a
Um,
mega city, I would say.
I think apart from London, the only other city I can think of that is the capital of mainstream filmmaking for sci-fi and fantasy, you're probably looking at Los Angeles, and we've got partners with them too. So we've got all the bases covered. But yeah, London is big for filmmaking. It's up there, yeah.
Do we have any other questions? I mean, as we mentioned, do not hesitate to contact us later if you have any questions. For example, you can contact Caleb or inquiries at richmond.ac.uk, and we
Yeah,
will.
I'd totally, definitely be happy, even if you drop me one sentence in an email, or if you want to have a 10-15 minute chat by Zoom or longer, or we could do it in stages. Please don't hesitate to drop me a line. Yeah, I'm really very much happy to discuss anything with you about the program or anything sci-fi. Yeah.
I think we don't have any other questions, so I think we can finish the webinar now. Thank you so much for being with us today. It was a pleasure, and please do not hesitate to contact us in the future if you have any questions. You're going to receive communications from us, so we will always be close to you and will help you in the process as well and in the journey. So we're going to be there.
Definitely, yeah. Yeah.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you very much. That's great.
Bye-bye.
Thanks. Bye. Bye.